Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy. We have an unscripted episode for all of you tonight, so before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I'm going to hit that intro button and get us started. I think I'm going to do that. Maybe I'm going to do that. Maybe.
There we go.
did that.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
This is Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy with Todd and Ken.
Well, welcome, Ken. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thanks. We should change our intro to say that podcasting is a complicated profession.
Ain't that the truth? So, if you don't know, I'm Todd.
And
this
I'm
is-
Ken.
Yep. And we're here. We're going to talk about a couple things. Really talking about, well, I guess if you don't realize, or if you didn't know up till now, being that it's almost the end of the day, today is World Kindness Day. And it is also National Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're going to talk a little bit about this as we move forward through the podcast. But what we always like to do before we get into our main topic is our Star Wars adventures. So we haven't been together for a couple months, and that kind of plays into some of the stuff that happened in the meantime. But I'm going to leave that is I've been on a secret mission. I have been playing many roles through this mission. I've been deep undercover, and I've been taking care of a great many things. And let's say the mission has come to fruition. It has had a positive outcome. So I haven't had a lot of Star Wars stuff happen, except for going way back. We were at Lehigh Valley Comic-Con together.
Yeah, what month was that? Was that July?
That was middle August.
Oh, okay. So even my months are wrong. My calendar's all messed up.
So going back a little bit, we did get to spend some time, and I just realized we never got those pictures from wasn't Anthony?
Didn't get the pictures or the video. So when we were together with some of our other costuming friends, some Mandalorians, some rebels, some members of the 501st, those bad guys doing good. We managed to do some videos together. We got some super cool photographs done together. And it wasn't until you said it out loud that I realized that we have never seen any of them.
No. I do have the videos of the couple interviews. They are set aside to do editing, and one day I'll get to them. Hopefully someday.
Well, those are the ones that we did.
Yeah, those are the ones that we did.
For those of you that are listening, we attempted to do some guerrilla filming while in costume. So we interviewed some of our other friends who are also there at the event, cosplaying as various characters, some custom characters, some well-known characters.
Yep.
And so what we were hoping to do is at some point get those little interview clips together to share with all of you. And things have gotten a little bit wacky. Things have gotten a little bit wild, and we just haven't done that yet. And since Lehigh Valley Comic-Con, the closest thing to a Star Wars adventure that we've had, Heather and I were lucky enough to spend 2 days at New York City Comic-Con, or New York Comic-Con.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, we were there Friday the whole day, and we were there Sunday the whole day. And I gotta tell you, it was like a convention like no other. There's definitely for the history books, and we've been to Star Wars Celebration, which is, from our perspective, or at least I'll say from my perspective, that's the best. Like that's the top of the heap, the cream of the crop, the best of the best when it comes to conventioning. And New York Comic-Con is right there. And I was joking around with Heather saying maybe that's just the one that we do every year from now on. If we're not going to be trooping at events, we save our time, we save our money, we save our energies and do that one, because we had some experiences there that we didn't expect to have. So we did plan on, one of the things that we planned on doing was, Heather's a big Aliens fan. And when I say aliens, I don't mean just little green men with big eyes. I'm talking the Ridley Scott, H.R.R. Geiger Aliens from the first film was in 1979.
The
with
xenomorphs.
the xenomorphs, 100%. And so we paid for pictures with Veronica Cartwright and Sigourney Weaver, and we did the whole
Nice.
wait in the virtual queue to go to the Sigourney Weaver, Veronica Cartwright. It was going to be Sigourney Weaver, Veronica Cartwright, and Tom Skerritt panel. Unfortunately, there was Tom had a family emergency, so he wasn't able to attend. But Veronica Cartwright and Sigourney Weaver were there, and so we're waiting in line. It was the first panel of the day, and we're standing in a queue with hundreds of people, if not thousands of people. Some waiting to get into the event, some waiting to get into the panel. And we were talking with the people around us like we often do, and the lady that we were talking to, that we had been, talking to for a good 20 minutes, just so nonchalantly said, "Oh yeah, I worked on Ahsoka season 2."
Oh, that's very cool.
Like, yeah, I did. I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Hold on.
You say those words again because I want to make sure that I heard what I think I heard, but I just want to make sure. She said, "Oh yeah, I'm part of the art department, and I worked on Ahsoka season 2." And you could have pushed me over with a breath, like
Oh,
it.
I'm sure.
So so I just rambled off question after question after question, and she was so kind. Um, Her name is Charlie, Charlotte. She goes by Charlie, and
Okay.
just absolutely wonderful, very kind, very fun. She is a big Alien Sigourney Weaver fan, and it was an amazing time. And then we also find out that in addition to her awesomeness, her sister is a stunt performer who, I don't know
Oh.
if you've ever heard of the Eternals, the Marvel movie The Eternals?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah,
heard of them.
she was the stunt performer for Angelina Jolie in The
Wow.
Eternals. And have you ever seen this movie? It was done by this guy, um, Ryan. No, not Ryan Johnson. Sorry, J.J. Abrams. I think it's like Rise of Skywalker or something like this.
I think I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah. So, do you remember the scene where Ray flipped through the air and sliced off the wing of
of
the of
the
Kylo Ren's ship?
right.
Yeah, that was Charlie's sister.
Oh, wow.
She was in that, and her sister's husband, so her brother-in-law, is a Knight of Ren. He's a stunt performer in that. So it's like, I'm like, this is not real. This cannot be happening. That we're just hanging out, shooting the breeze with someone this awesome. It was so cool. Just so cool. And she sat with us during the panel. We must have spent 2 hours just hanging out, and she's worked on a ton of other things like the Rings of Power and the last Indiana Jones movie, and it was so cool. Like I'm not even there right now, and I'm goose bumpy just talking about it. It was so very cool, and she put
That's
up with all my questions.
that's amazing. I mean, you never really know who you're gonna run into in New York City, let alone at a comic convention on top of it, you know?
Yeah, and so what makes it even funnier, I'm a big observer of just random coincidences. So we live in a part of New Jersey where part of our address is Windsor Court,
Okay.
and Charlie just so happens to live in Windsor, England.
Oh,
So it's like it, yeah, it was bonkers and so much fun. And on Sunday, have you ever heard of the Muppet Show?
yes, of course.
Okay. So I grew up on the Muppet Show, and I grew up on Sesame Street, and Jim Henson and many of the makers have been inspiration to me and entertainment for me for many, many years. And we
Okay.
got to hang out with Guy Gilchrist. Guy Gilchrist is um, he's best known for being the artist behind the comic strips, the
Oh,
Muppets
okay.
comic strips, and he was there. And so one of the things that I got was a Kermit the Frog, and if you look at his feet, he's got little autographs and drawings from Guy. And Guy worked,
Wow.
he and Jim Henson were big pals, and like he said family, like they spent lots and lots and lots and lots of time together, and just I must have spent a half an hour just with him, just
Really?
talking about the Muppets and talking about Jim Henson and talking about that inspiration and that creativity. And as goofy as this might sound, the need of this world for kindness and attention, and that's the kind of things that came through from Jim and the Muppets and stuff like that. So it was a convention like no other.
Wow.
So
I
it was
mean,
awesome.
it's definitely one to get to. I haven't been to New York. I haven't. To be honest with you, the biggest one that I've been to is Fan Expo. So
Okay. Oh, the Philly one, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So then that was a few years ago. I mean, I took the boys because they wanted to see this YouTuber that was down there, and then we went down with the Mercs I went down with it as a handler, and I got them in too. And yeah, we had a good time wandering around there and stuff like that. But that's still not all that big. But I have aspirations to get to one of them, either New York or San Diego or something like that. I think New York's probably a whole lot more achievable.
Well, the best part about New York Comic Con is it's drivable. You know, you don't have to take a plane there. For us, it's a 3-hour one-way drive to New York City, and
Yeah.
we didn't stay in New York City. We stayed across the river in New Jersey, on the New Jersey side of things, where the hotels were a lot less expensive.
Very
And
cool.
we weren't that far away. It wasn't like we had to take a 2-hour taxi ride or bus ride or whatever each morning to get there. It was it was nice. It was really, really cool. And let us know when you're going to go, because it's one of those things that I think is fun as a group. And Heather and I had a blast just wandering around those 2 days.
Yeah. Then, I mean, maybe this year, when it comes. No, I guess next year. But next year when it comes around, maybe that might be a good chance.
Yeah, it's definitely one worth planning for. That's for sure. And then the other, having now been there, I can say that with confidence, because the other part that was amazing is just the sheer volume of it. There was a costumer there, and I'd seen pictures and videos of him at San Diego Comic Con, and he
Okay.
had a Galactus costume. And
Oh,
when I
okay.
say Galactus costume, let me make sure I describe it a little bit more accurately. It's a 10-foot 8-inch Galactus costume.
Wow.
It took him and his team months to build, and it wasn't cheap.
No, I'm sure.
This costume, just this costume, single costume worn by a single person, roughly $35,000
Oh my.
as a
That's a
costume.
lot.
He's wearing a Honda Civic, like
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
a new one.
yeah, with air conditioning. But
Yeah.
it was amazing, and it's one thing to see pictures. It's another thing to see videos. It's another thing to see this 10-foot 8 costume walking through a hallway, or in one of these big atriums, live and in person. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, not well, Lehigh Valley Comic Con in April, they have the bigger venue, and they
Yep.
actually had 2 guys in those Fallout power armor suits,
Oh, that's cool,
like life size, like
because those are like
huge.
7 foot tall too,
Those
right?
are, yeah, they're huge. And I mean, just seeing them walk past, I mean, I had my Mando armor, and they're just like,
Yeah, it's like a
okay,
metallic Chewbacca.
I'm not gonna mess with him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some that's some engineering there. That's not just, costuming or sewing, or that's legitimate engineering. Like how do I get this shoulder piece to attach to this arm piece, and, get myself into these boots that are,
Yeah.
inches if not feet off the ground.
I mean, I would love to do something big like that, but I don't know that I could stand it.
Yeah, and they had a bunch of folks in various Warhammer 40K costumes, and the booth setups were just off the charts remarkable. It was cool. It was very, very cool. I got to figure out how to at some point capture my pictures and videos that we took from the 2 days there and put them into something to share. Because right now I just have the hundreds of pictures on my phone. I haven't even posted any of them to social media or anything, because I was just so overwhelmed by it all.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
And since we
So,
got together last, have you added any extra bits to your collection? Anything new and fun other than your new fashion piece?
um, not really. My secret mission has kept me quite busy, so
Okay.
I have not built a lot of stuff. I did want to mention before we moved on to additions to the collection that we did get together last night on the inflatable Falcon.
Yeah.
That is Star Wars related, and we read the first act of The Empire Striketh Back. If you did not see it and you are interested in seeing it, we linked it onto this site. So it is here on the list. You can grab it and watch it. If you want to be entertained, if you are ever curious what it sounded like for somebody to read it, please, it is not professional. But, you know,
Wait.
I mean,
it's as professional as we can be.
it is as professional as we can be, but it is definitely worth the chuckle. You know, so it was definitely a ton of fun to do. Mike and you, and we had Susan, my wife, and my son Michael, and Jim with that wonderful Vader voice that he did.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
I want his mic set up so that I can sound as good as he does.
It was wonderful. And I was incredibly impressed. And I don't know if we said this after we got done recording, but we did the whole act, several scenes. I think it might have been 7 scenes in Act 1.
7, yeah.
With no reshoots.
No.
Like we were successful. We were professional enough. We were successful enough to get through the entire first act in one take.
Yeah. Yeah. And we only
And
messed up a few times.
nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt in
I know.
the recording of Act 1.
We did not have one wardrobe malfunction. We did not have
there
the
was no
stage
actual
fall
swearing.
apart.
It was fantastic. And I was, you know, I don't know if I said it to you, Sue, last night, but your son did an incredible job.
He did. He did. He had his own personal take on R2D2.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
He had R2D2 and Luke Skywalker. I mean, how cool is that? So,
Right?
so now we can officially say, we can put this on our resume that we are voice actors.
That's true.
That
That's true.
we've read professionally on a national, international podcast.
That's true.
Put it on
That's
the resume.
Right. It's already there. It's already there. I'm writing it down right now on the resume. Yeah. Hey, but honestly, it was a ton of fun, and thank you and Mike for setting that up, because that was just, I know you guys did A New Hope. What was that, a few years ago?
Yeah, several years ago at this point.
But to do The Empire Striketh Back was a ton of fun.
Yeah, we're gonna get together. The way we scheduled it for everyone who's listening, we're gonna schedule Act 2 the beginning of January.
Yep.
You know, so stay tuned. You know,
Yep.
Cliffhanger. We're getting into Act 2 January. I haven't picked the date yet, but it'll most likely fall on a Wednesday, because that's our typical recording schedule on the Inflatable Falcon.
And I'm sure sometime between now and then we'll have another episode, and hopefully we'll have a date by then, and we can set that up.
Yeah,
we can put it out there.
Yeah,
That would
and
be fun.
like you said, everyone was fantastic, from Jim to all the characters that Mike played. You know. So
Mike was just the slew of extras.
yeah,
But it worked fantastic. So
yes, and
I loved
once
it.
again, no retakes, no reshoots.
No,
We didn't need to call in an uncredited director. We didn't need to, scrap it and do it again. Like, it was
rewrite the
done.
script or anything.
You bet. And we managed to get through the entire act in less than an hour.
Yeah, which
so
is not bad, considering half of us probably hadn't even read it before.
Yeah, well, haven't read it out loud before.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Because,
I've read it before.
In full transparency, not that I've ever lied to you before to your face. I did read it a couple times before we recorded, only because I get super nervous about reading out loud in front of other people, and so I at least read the words. Like I said, I didn't recite it aloud, but I read the words to myself a couple times before. So I had mental practice, mental rehearsal.
Well, to be honest with you, I picked the book up out of I had it in the closet, which I don't know how it ended up there, but it should be on the shelf. But I picked it up out of the closet. I cracked open the book. I read the chorus. I put it back down, and I never opened it until last night again. I gave it to Sue on, I think Monday or Tuesday, so she could go through it. But that was pretty much it. I hadn't actually gone back to it, and I read it when it came out. So, though I do have to pick up the sequel trilogy because I don't have those.
Yeah, and I don't think they've released all three of them yet.
No,
I think one of them is coming out this year, even perhaps if not this year, early next year.
Something like that. I think one's out, one's due to come out, and then one's on the horizon.
Yeah, very, very cool.
So I know you've been working on armor.
Yeah, so I'm working on another Mandalorian, a custom Mandalorian. This is in the post-Imperial style, and so for those of you that aren't familiar with the different styles of Mandalorians or the different eras of Mandalorians, there's the modern style, which is very similar to Boba Fett or Jango Fett, where the chest piece is, or the chest armor is 5 separate pieces. You've got your 2 sides of the chest. You've got the iron heart in the center, an ab plate, and a collar. The post-Imperial is similar to the Din Djarin. And so the ab plate and the chest piece can either be one together, joined, or 2 separate pieces. So that's the style I'm going with for this new costume. And it's going to be similar to my old costume in this one way. I'm not going for huge battle damage or lots of weathering. I want it to be shiny. I want it to be, in fact, this costume is painted with color shift paint. So depending on the light source, depending on the angle from the light source, the armor can look purple, or it can look green, or it can look blue. And I'm putting in some nice metallic gold accents. So I've been working on that, and I'm probably, I'd say 40% done with that.
Oh, really?
So,
that's good.
Yeah, so I've got my shoulders painted, my chest plate painted. One of the other benefits of a post-Imperial kit, no cod piece. So I don't have to worry about that. I've got shoulders, the chest plate, my back plate. Those are all painted. I'm working on the accents for the helmet and my visor for the helmet. I've already got the soft kit. I'm going to use the flight suit from Din Djarin as the base.
Okay.
Same color, like grayish brown. So a dark color flight suit. And I got to get gauntlets. That's the only armor pieces that I'm missing. Oh, no, gauntlets and hand armor.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the only armor pieces, hard pieces that I need. And then I'm trying to figure out what kind of weapons to have. I was thinking having multiple weapons, maybe 2 pistols, like a true cowboy, plus a battle axe. But we'll see how it all comes together.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
And in addition to the costuming, I have picked up a handful of things to add to our collection. I know I mentioned Kermit the Frog a little bit ago. I was also lucky enough to get some of the Black Series action figures from the Skeleton Crew. That's SM33.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
While we were in New York City, we found, surprisingly enough, the Black Series 6-inch figures for $15 a piece. So we ended up picking up Jod, Wim, Fern, and one other one. I can't remember if it was KB or not, but we have all of the figures for that, because I had Brutus from before. Brutus and Neil. We also got Neil.
Okay.
And I picked up some new magazines. One of the magazines. So I recently recorded an episode of The Rambling Star Wars Fan all about season 2 of Andor. And since I released that episode, I got this magazine called Before and After. And the whole entire magazine is behind the scenes stuff about season 2 of Andor. So I might do a brief follow-up my last episode of the Rambling Star Wars Fan with some more details about how season 2 of Andor was put together.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Because that was a really good episode.
Oh, thanks for that.
Well, I mean, I'm a big fan, so
I appreciate that. And I'm up to 14 subscribers now. So
there you
know,
go.
So solidly in the double digits.
If I could subscribe more, I would. No, I mean, but to be honest, like that was a good episode. I like you know, you had solid evidence to back up the fact that Andor season 2 was not necessary. So, if you're
in
listening
all
to
of the best ways,
if you're listening to this, go listen to it because it's worth it. It's worth every moment of it. So, yeah, you did a great job, and the amount of I can't imagine the amount of research that you put into everything that you put in that episode.
oh,
There was a lot.
And that was just the stuff that was recorded. I probably have enough notes to do at least one, maybe two more episodes just on Andor season 2 by itself.
Yeah,
like there was so much care and attention. I mean, I think I could do an entire episode just on the costumes of Andor. I mean, those were remarkable, and the sheer number of them. I mean,
yeah.
Michael Wilkinson and his team made thousands plural, not just 1,000, but thousands plural of costumes.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened in season 2.
Yep.
A lot of stuff that happened.
And it wasn't just a matter of, you make the same pants and shirt for everybody, but this person has a scarf and that person has a hood and that person has his pants on backwards. No, I mean, a lot of these costumes were unique, especially when you look at some of the scenes like the wedding scene or the Gorman massacre scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone had an individual look. They might have been similar. They might have been, cohesive from that perspective, but they were all unique costumes.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's got to be thousands of dollars just in that wedding scene. Just in costume.
Yep.
Just in
might
costume.
even be thousands of dollars just in the bridal gown.
I mean, it's a good possibility.
I mean, not that I've bought a prom dress lately, but prom dresses go a couple $100s nowadays.
Yeah. Well,
So
I was just in a wedding over the weekend. So my cousin got married just this past weekend. And I think her dress was like $4,000. So
wow, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, my family's been in the wedding business for a long time, so I kind of know the way it goes. That's the reason why my wedding was like $600.
Now, when you say in the wedding business, like are they makers? Are they caterers? Are they?
So my mom has done wedding dresses since I was old enough, since I was little. So she's been making wedding dresses, prom dresses, stuff like that. She's a seamstress her whole life. My dad and I, of course, are DJs, so we've been doing weddings since 1991. So we've been doing weddings and parties and stuff like that. So we've seen all that. And of course, Sue she used to work at a club where they catered weddings. She worked in the kitchen. She worked as a waitress. So we've seen the whole circle of everything that happens. I mean, the only thing that we don't have in house in the family is a florist and
Or an officiant.
And an officiant.
Well, I'm a bishop. I could probably marry somebody.
That's fair. Yeah, that's true. And even my aunt is a wedding photographer. So yeah,
that's awesome.
We have been in the wedding business for a very long time. So when I got married, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I could share it on air because my anniversary was on the 24th of October.
Oh, cool.
So we decided we're big Halloween fans. as you could imagine, we like to dress up in costumes and stuff like that. So we decided to plan a our wedding as a Halloween party. So we invited everybody to a Halloween party, and about an hour and a half into it, I announced that everybody was actually at our wedding.
Oh, so you lied to people?
Oh yeah, we lied to people.
Okay, in the
We
best possible way.
we threw a Halloween party, and everybody left at a wedding. So
That
my
needs to be the title of a short story.
it probably could be. I've told this story enough times.
Oh my goodness.
So my brother came up, and I set him up with I set all the music up. I set a whole playlist up so he could just play the music as a DJ, and I stuffed him in the corner, and I told him I told him we're just gonna put the music on, and if we need to adjust songs as we go, we'll just adjust songs as we go. So I told him, go ahead, play with it, do whatever you want. I'll go back and play with it too, whatever. We had it at the club where she worked, so we got the hall for really, really cheap. All we had to do was pay for alcohol, and then the officiant we hired because we didn't know anybody that was an officiant. So we hired an officiant. He showed up as a Egyptian pharaoh.
So he came in costume.
He came in costume too.
Todd,
So
this needs to be a story. Come on. It's writing itself.
So we got married. I was King Arthur, and she dressed up as Guinevere, and we got married by an Egyptian pharaoh. And the way we played it off, because we both worked in the car business, is she said to everybody that came and watched that it was somebody that I worked with, and then when somebody would ask me, I would say, "Oh, it's somebody that Sue worked with," because we worked at two different places. So, and everybody believed us because the car business is that kind of hectic. So, nobody necessarily stays at one place for real long. So, yeah, so we played that off. Even her mom and dad were there. Her dad did the bartending and stuff like that. So we really just played everything out. And then my aunt was the photographer, and she dressed up like an old time press photographer with the hat with the little press card in the top and the
So it was
camera
like
around
playing
her
the
neck.
role completely.
Yep, she just played the role and just took pictures, and nobody thought about it because she always had her camera in her hand anyways.
So other than the officiant, who knew that this was going to be a wedding?
My aunt, the photographer, and of course she told her wife.
So 5 people at this
Five.
whole party.
Yep.
5.
5 people knew.
That's a lot of lies.
Yeah, it's a lot. We even had trophies for best costumes and stuff like that. And
Did you and your wife win?
No, I don't think we won anything actually.
Each other. You
Well,
won
yeah.
each other.
Yeah, we won each other. But yeah, we had a costume contest. We had told everybody just to bring food. So we didn't have to prepare food or anything like that. It was just everybody brought food.
Dude, that's I've never heard that story, and I'm so glad that you shared it. That's awesome.
Well, now I shared it with the world, so
That is incredible.
Yep. Yeah, so that was probably one of my earliest costuming adventures.
Yeah, so this Mando thing's easy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. That's easy peasy. That's awesome.
Yeah, we did a lot of that's how we got married. It was $600 said and done, except everything except the rings.
Now, for you and your family, then I'm going to guess Halloween is the beginning of the holiday season. Then,
yeah,
and it probably runs through, literally and figuratively into the new year.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty
And
much.
so, you'd mentioned early on that today, as we're recording this, is World Kindness Day, and it's also important for us to share with everyone that doesn't know that November is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
It's National Mental Health Awareness.
Okay.
And men's mental health awareness is June.
Oh, I thought Men's Health was okay. I'm getting my months all mixed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to look it up for sure too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's National Mental Health Awareness. So everybody's included in November.
Okay. Which is nice.
Yeah, that is nice. So no matter who you are, you get involved. You get a ticket this month.
Yeah, and so with that in mind, I'm very curious. This is a Star Wars podcast, as you know, because you've chosen to host it. Um, what is it about Star Wars that you find so engaging? What is it about Star Wars that you think supports mental health, or even this idea of togetherness and support?
So, okay, so Star Wars has always been there for me as a person. Obviously, the first movie came out in '77. I was 3 years old. So, um, even at that point, like my aunts were already obviously not huge Star Wars fans, but they were interested. Um, so it's always kind of been there. It was very popular in 77, 78, 79, stuff like that as we move forward. So it's always been a part of my life. I have always had Star Wars sheets on my bed. I've always had, but for me, Star Wars has always been that thing that I could go to and enjoy. It's my safety blanket, if you will, security blanket, whatever you want to say. Um, I like that I can connect with a lot of the characters that are in the movies. I understand, the fight that they have with the good versus evil that the Jedi Knights have, the light side and the dark side. I can connect with that. I understand, sometimes you feel like you want to do bad things and it's only for the sake of being good that you continue to be good. That's the biggest thing to me. There's always that moral compass, if you will, the light side versus the dark side. I think that exists in all of us. And I think if you choose to be a bad person, you could be a bad person. But if you choose to be good, you can make everything good for everybody around you. And that always resonated with me. Like from the very basics, and I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but I'm just going to keep going because this is part of my story.
Yeah.
um, in the first trilogy, and I'm just going to lay this out. You had Han and Luke and Leia and of course Chewbacca and R2D2 and C3PO, and that was the core of people, and they did these amazing things because they felt it needed to be done. Like they needed to save the princess. They needed to get everybody off the ice planet before the Empire came in and took them away. They needed to save Han Solo from the carbonite. They had to, confront Darth Vader and the Emperor. And that always resonated with me on the moral side that, if I was in that position, this is the stuff that I would want to do. These are the choices that I hope that I would make if I was in the same situation. So, and to see the story told, and like, and I'm going to go down a different alley here real quick, but I always watch Revenge of the Sith and hope that Anakin makes a different choice at some point. You know what I mean? Like, I know how it's going to end, and I know the duel at the end, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet, but I always hope that at some point he turns his back on, you know, Palpatine and says, not cuts Mace Windu's hand off and arrests the Chancellor or so
Kill
on.
a bunch of kids.
Kill a bunch of kids. Yeah. I mean, there's always that, like, just stop, turn around, stop, don't do it, you know? So, I mean, that's how it really connects with me. And I always get that when it's on the TV, I can't turn it off, you know?
Yeah. I
That,
get that when I see it on in the stores. I'm like, looks like I'm going to be here for 10 minutes
yeah,
or
this is
20.
this is a good part. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're in the trash compactor. You got to see this.
Right, right.
Look at the Dianoga.
So, and I mean, that's what drove me to do this, to make the podcast, to make Mandalorian armor. I still, and I think that my next project is going to be Jedi robes, because I feel like that needs to be my next endeavor. I've always wanted a set of Jedi robes, and I think that that's going to be the next thing that I do.
So, taking that idea, your next costume is going to be Jedi robes. I'm going to steer away from the mental health thing just for a brief moment. When you say you're going to do a set of Jedi robes, are you going to do a set of, the classic Jedi robes, so the kind that Obi-Wan Kenobi wore, or are you going to do the High Republic Jedi robes, or are you going to do Clone Wars Jedi robes where, like, for instance, Anakin got to wear and Obi-Wan got to wear some pieces of armor with their Jedi robes, or are you even going to go farther back and do like Knights of the Old Republic Jedi robes where it's much more armor?
And this is why I don't have Jedi robes yet.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, that makes
because
sense.
There's too many characters I connect with, and that I would like to play the same role as or be behind the mask of.
Okay.
To put simply. So if I had to pick a character to jump out, I would love to do the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker with the black robes and the black cape, and have that look and still be a Jedi.
Okay.
On the other hand, I would love to do Revan, or either light or dark Revan.
Yeah,
because they're both amazing costumes.
And you get two lightsabers.
Which I'm all about. Not that I want to carry two lightsabers around a con all the time, but
well, you just do the hilts. Just carry the hilts.
That's true. I could just have both the hilts.
But and then have another set aside, or figure out a way of getting the blades that go in easily for photographs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. I haven't really pegged down what I wanted to do, and of course, I'm getting a little older, and I'm not as fair-haired as I used to be, shall we say? So I mean, even like Balin Skoll would be a really cool character to make, because I like his costume. I like his robes with just the small armor. Well, I guess they're like leather armor,
leather plating kind of thing.
Yeah, which would be really cool too. But that's the biggest problem, is I don't know what to do because I connect with so many different characters.
So here's a possibility. You make a little grid with all the names on them. You put them on a piece of paper in a grid form, put it on the table, get a coin. I don't know what your favorite coin is, a lucky coin or whatever, and just toss the coin onto this grid, and wherever the coin lands, you let the Force decide which costume you're going to make.
That's fair. I could do that.
The Force said, I got to do Balin Skoll.
Yeah.
We know what happens when you argue with the Force. It doesn't work out well.
Right. You reach out and somebody smacks your hand.
You bet. That's not how the Force works.
Exactly. So what about you? What what connects you with Star Wars? I mean, obviously you're a collector, so you see a lot, you pick up a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, so at the basic level, going back, I was 2 when Star Wars first came out, so I don't remember. But to your point, Star Wars has always been in my life in one shape or form or another. For as long as I've had memories related to Star Wars. I mean, in 1983, my birthday cake was an R2D2 that year. Made by my family. They did the decorations, they baked the cake, they had the old, is it
Yes.
Wilton cake pans. It's funny that you mentioned that your family has been involved in weddings. My grandparents on my mother's side catered weddings and graduations. My grandmother on my mother's side made wedding dresses, and when I say made wedding cakes, I'm talking the multi-tiered cakes with the little plastic figurines where even as a kid, she would have me paint the dresses on the figurines and the shirts on the
Really?
figurines to go with whatever the colors were of the bridal and groom's party. So even as a kid, I was involved in helping them with that. So I just think it's
That's
funny
pretty
that your
cool.
family was involved in it, and my family was involved with it as well in another state, probably around the same time, because we're,
Yeah,
we're not that too
probably.
far different in age.
Yeah.
Um, and like you, Star Wars has been one of those things I can rely on for joy. I mean, I've never put on Star Wars and have been unhappy because I'm watching Star Wars. Like, I can't
Right.
believe I have to watch this. I can't believe you're making me watch, The Force Awakens again. That
Right.
sort of thing. So there's that joy part of it. And then as I've gotten older and I've wanted to make more things myself and more curious. I've gotten into the creation of Star Wars. Like, how did all of these things come together? How did these people build those sets, or how did these people make those costumes, or how did these people decide that the camera is going to go in this direction and the ships are going to like it? It's been incredibly interesting from a creative standpoint. And also, and you mentioned it a little bit ago, there's always been Star Wars stuff
Yeah.
from the action figures and the comic books and the novels and the role playing games and the clothing. I mean, I do remember at one point, I'm pretty sure I had the C3PO underoos. I'm pretty sure I had them. I don't have them now, even though they make them in adult sizes. So don't ask. That one person out there on YouTube that's curious if I have C3PO underoos. I'm not wearing them right now. Um,
Okay.
um, but there's always been things, and I don't know why, but my family has been a family of collections. My
Yeah.
grandmother used to collect salt and pepper shakers, and for whatever reason, spoons. So they would go travel all over the country, and they would come back with a pair of salt and pepper shakers from someplace on their travels and a spoon. And as a kid, I collected stickers and keychains and action figures. So collection, amassing things, has been part of my existence ever since I was little. And
Yeah.
as you can see around me, that hasn't stopped. I've
No,
tried.
and yeah. No, my aunt has well, she has passed now, but at my cousin's house, he has still has a full china cabinet full of salt and pepper shakers from everywhere they've been.
Yeah, and I
So I understand that.
I mean, I think it's funny, like Funko Pops. People
Hmm.
some people make fun of Funko Pops. Like, who would ever want those? But then when you look back over time, I mean, some of my grandparents' friends had, like, what are they, Hummel figures,
Yeah, yeah, the Hummels, yeah,
or
sure.
even the little Cupie pies, where it's like a little boy and girl. They were just buck naked, and they were in different kind. I think they're called Cupie pie dolls. Or even Barbie dolls, for crying out
Yeah,
loud.
yeah,
And the Barbies came out, like, I think in the 50s.
right.
So collecting has been a thing, and getting into this idea of connecting with somebody else who enjoys this material, just to talk about it, to look at the different themes, to look at the different pieces, to look at um, how these things come together, and figuring out a way of taking that thing we've heard or we've seen and making it ourselves.
Yeah.
Making that Star Wars helmet, making that suit of armor, making that diorama for your 3.5 inch, 3 3/4 inch figures to set on the shelf so you can take some cool pictures of them, or give them a reason not to be in the boxes anymore.
Yeah.
And over time, you had mentioned, you've identified with different characters at different points, and the same is true for me. As a kid, I did connect with Luke Skywalker because I knew what it was like to be where I was, but not want to be there.
Yeah.
To when it could be, I want to be in another country, or I want to be in another life, or I want to be in just another existence, another situation than the one that I'm in. Um, and this idea of choices, that's been a powerful driving thing with me for a long time, taking ownership and responsibility for the things I say, the things I do, and or the things I don't say and don't do.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't tell that person that they had broccoli in their teeth because I didn't want to cause a scene in the moment, so I just let it be there.
Right.
Or I
Right.
pulled them aside and did. But either way, like, owning what I choose to do and what I choose not to do, because either way, both of them are choices.
Correct.
Um, and so started off with this idea of understanding Luke wanting to be somewhere else, and over time, I've identified with different characters at different points in my life. So, did you see the episode of Star Wars Rebels when Kanan was attempting to train Sabine on how to use the lightsaber?
Yeah. Of course.
So it was a very dramatic scene. Spoiler warning for those of you who haven't seen this episode from over 5 years ago. It wasn't going well. Kanan was not doing a great job with Sabine. There was just something getting in the way of this training sticking, or this connection between the teacher and the student happening. And part of it was Sabine has been carrying, you know, internal baggage. She'd been carrying, some trauma that she had been through, and the trauma that she was carrying at the time that was showing up was the guilt that she put on herself for choosing to leave home. And
Yeah.
I know it's in an animated show. I know these people are not real. However, I can appreciate that. I can understand that because I lived something similar. Not to get too intimate, but I left home at a young age. I
Yeah.
I chose to walk away from my mother. I chose to walk away from my sister and half brothers and half sister, and I'm gone. I'm out of here. And
Right.
I know what that guilt is like, because at the time, when I say young, I was 16 and I was the oldest of 5 kids. So all of those kids were teenage or younger. And I said, I'm done with you. I'm out of here. And
Yeah.
part of it was because I was becoming someone that I didn't want to be, and I didn't want to hurt anyone else because of the choices I was making. So rather than stay there and potentially make worse decisions, I chose that it was best for me to leave. And so I'm watching this cartoon and hearing these words come out of an animated voice on the show and saying, "Holy crap." Like, I know that sensation. I know that pain. I know that guilt that can carry with you and affect other choices,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah. I can understand that as well.
so it's, and that those are just two simple, easy go to examples of connecting with the performers on screen in this thing. I know that Star Wars is not real. I
Correct.
know that those people didn't really, I mean, Luke Skywalker or Mark Hamill's never been in space. Like,
Right.
like,
Right.
never fought you know a Gamorrean guard, never escaped a Rancor, you
Right.
know,
Never
and I
flew an
know,
X-wing.
yeah, never flew an X-wing, that sort of stuff. So I
I
know it's not real.
and I heard he never even seen a Star Wars movie before he played Luke
Yeah,
Skywalker.
I'm telling you, yeesh. And they call him a professional. And
My
that's
God.
just some of the stuff. And one of the other things that Star Wars over time has given me the opportunity to do is exactly what we're doing right now, and that's connecting with each other from different times, from different places, around a shared idea or ideas.
Right.
You know, which is something that I think, as wacky as it is for me to say out loud in 2025, we need more of that. We need more things that bring people together, even if our ideas are different, even if our opinions are different, even if our viewpoints are different, but to be able to talk about these things openly, willingly, and not from the perspective of you need to think like I think or I need to think like you think, but let's just talk about it. Let's see where the other person's coming from.
Right. I think the biggest concept that we need to bring back in society now is the ability to agree to disagree. Like, because there's a lot of different concepts and visions of what you think or how you feel or how your world is, that doesn't coincide with the people that are around you, your neighbors, your family members, your friends, and it's a shame because I've seen so many people go by the wayside because they can't give up that identity of what they think they are. And I've lost friends over something that they felt so strong about that I didn't really have an opinion on. And it's a shame because I've lost some good friends over, you know, not to get political or anything, but the letter that's on your voter registration, or the church that you choose to go to or not go to, depending on the case. And I'm not that person. I'm definitely. I mean, if you had to tell me I had to pick a religion right now, I'd probably be a Jedi.
Yeah. In some countries, it's a legitimate religion that you can pick.
Right. And but I do believe in a lot of the stuff that uh, other religions believe in. I just call it by a different name. And I've lost friends because of that, because I don't believe what they believe in. And it's like, I kind of do, I just don't call it the same thing, you know? And my outlook on political stuff and stuff like that, it's different because I don't just sign a D or an R on my registration, my voter card when I vote every year, every 6 months, whatever. Um, I make intelligent choices that are based on what me and my family need, and that's what it's going to be. And if you can't accept the person that I am, then unfortunately, if we need to part ways, we need to part ways. But I don't see the problem in any of that. Like, I don't understand why I've lost friends, except that they can't accept who I am.
Well, I think part of it is the area that people choose to focus on. And so you had mentioned the idea of being able to get to this place where we agree to disagree. And
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think it's a wonderful place to be able to truthfully, honestly talk about. And once again, not from the perspective of I need to agree with you or you need to agree with me, meaning you have to believe what I believe or I need to believe what you have to believe or what
Right.
you choose to believe, but just to acknowledge that there's differences there. However, if we only focus on that, and if we only focus on our differences, then one of the biggest lost opportunities is looking at the things where we do agree. Because I don't know of many people who disagree on, I'm going to use air quotes here,
Okay.
everything.
No.
Because everything's really broad. Like, you know, do you like ice cream? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so I like ice cream.
Okay.
What's your
Good.
what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
A tin roof sundae.
What's a tin roof sundae? I don't know if I've ever had one of those.
Oh, you need to have one of those. That's good.
What is it?
It's essentially vanilla ice cream with fudge pieces in it, with like a fudge swirl. I think there's pralines in it.
Okay, so nuts and fudge.
Yeah, in a
And
vanilla
is it
ice cream.
chunks of fudge or like melted fudge?
Like stripes of fudge.
Oh, so it's spread out through the vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, like stripes of fudge with like I think it's pralines in it. Well, it's
Yeah.
some kind of nut. I forget what it is.
Okay. So you're wrong. Cherry. Bing cherry is the best ice cream.
Oh,
That's what I mean. That's I use
yeah,
that extreme language of you're wrong. Like we both
right.
like ice cream. And so instead of focusing on which flavor we like, how about we talk about we both like ice cream? Like
Absolutely.
it's a cold treat. It's sweet and flavorful, and it's cooling in a hot day, or it's fun on a Tuesday night after dessert or after dinner, or it's fantastic to have a bowl of ice cream while you're watching an episode of Star Wars Resistance. You
Right.
know, all like we both like ice cream instead of, oh no,
Right.
you like that one or I like that
Correct.
one. And you know, it is amazing to me. You mentioned this idea of politics getting in the way of stuff. We've gotten to the place in this world in 2025 where even being Star Wars fans, I'll use air quotes again, isn't enough to bind people. It isn't enough to join people because there's there. I'm an original trilogy guy. I'm an OG fan, and I'm not going to
Right.
watch that Resistance stuff. And don't get me started on that garbage that Ryan Johnson made, or what's this Andor nonsense? Andor's so unnecessary. We didn't need that. Why
Right.
couldn't we have just been happy with, you know, A New Hope and everything that came, after that until 1983?
Right. Once Disney took over, it all went downhill.
Yeah, go woke, go broke. Like,
And
you know,
you and I know you and I agree on this. There's not a bad Star Wars thing out there. There might be something that you don't prefer to watch, but I mean, there's nothing that's come out that I haven't watched, except for Visions season 3 because I haven't gotten there yet.
that you haven't watched yet,
Yet,
or
yes,
that, yeah,
there's a strong yet in there. It's just
yeah,
I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. It's gonna be
yeah.
soon because I keep hearing more and more about it, and I don't want to be spoiled on it.
Yeah,
So
it's timing and attention and all that kind of stuff. But this idea that we are no longer at this place that we're willing to acknowledge that differences are okay, that they exist. I mean, we're not the same age. We didn't grow up in the same town. We didn't go to the same high school. We didn't have the same friends. We didn't listen to the same music. We didn't go to the same concerts. So the list of differences is huge.
yeah,
But if we only focus on the differences, we miss all of those opportunities to find out what we do have in common.
and for anybody that's out there, I mean, you're here watching a Star Wars podcast. You like Star Wars, even if it's in part or you only watch it with your spouse or your because your friend watches it. You still choose to sit here and watch. You've watched the movies or you've watched the animation or somehow you've gotten to watch us on YouTube because of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And just take that, whether you're a OG or a prequel or a sequel fan or whatever, just realize that everybody else that's watching is also a Star Wars fan. And anybody that is watching could potentially be your friend.
Yeah. And this idea of using Star Wars or whatever your fandom is as an opportunity to connect, as an opportunity to explore, as an opportunity even to share. Because part of what builds a nice strong relationship is this back and forth. I learned about you, you learned about me. We've shared this time together. Um, we've given each other room to participate in this. And one of the other great things about it is it's one of those things that we can use as, what, I'm having a tough day. Let's talk Star Wars. Let's you and I connect. I may not want to tell you what's going on in my day, but I do just want to connect with you, um, and chat through this thing, because that brings me joy. That gives me an opportunity to not focus on this for a moment or a few moments. Not that I won't,
Yeah.
but for now, let's do this other thing.
Right. And I mean, when it really comes down to it, even between you and I mean, 2 years ago, we hadn't met, but we never really interacted. To now, we are in almost, let's say, weekly contact with one another, if not more often than that.
Yeah, depending on the week.
Yeah, some weeks are every day. Some weeks are, once a week, sending a video or sending a reel or something like that to one another. And we've created this in less than 2 years. I mean,
Yeah.
so, and we're just getting started. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have a lot of places to go and a lot of places to explore. And to be honest with you, like 2 years ago, I would never even thought that, hey, I'm going to be on a podcast, let alone, hey, I'm going to be on a podcast with Ken, the Rambling Star Wars fan.
Yeah, the other guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really is just amazing when you open your mind to the stuff that is out there and the stuff that you can connect to other people with. What you could create, what you could build on, and what could happen out of that whole scenario.
And what you could, at the risk of sounding selfish, what you can either get from it or give back to it. Because sometimes sometimes I need something. Sometimes I need, whether it's I need something to pick me up, I need something to distract me, I need something to help me think about something in more depth, or even not to think about something at all. So once again, this idea of distraction.
Right.
Sometimes we need to be able to say, "Hey, got a minute?" Because I need someone to hear what I have to say, or I need somebody to talk with me about this topic. I need
Yeah.
somebody that I can go to, either for guidance or even just a helpful ear. I don't need you to tell me what to do. I don't need you to tell me how to do it. I just want to be heard.
And that's probably the best advice I could give to anybody that, really just, when somebody needs to talk to you, just sit and listen. You don't need to tell them how to fix it. You don't need to tell them what you would do. You don't even need to tell them, I've been through that, or my scenario is much worse than yours, or much better than yours. Just be quiet and listen to what they have to say. If somebody's reaching out to talk to you about something, it's probably because they want to talk to you, or they just need somebody to talk to. Maybe not necessarily you, but a lot of times they're picking you to tell their secret story, whatever's bothering them at the moment. And I mean, you should almost feel a little honored that they picked you to talk to. I mean, I have friends that are going through some terrible stuff, and sometimes just sitting on the couch and letting them talk is the best help for them.
Yeah. Or sometimes, sitting in the same room watching a Star Wars.
Well, absolutely.
You know,
I mean, if he could just sit and watch Star Wars, I mean, that would fix all our problems, right?
just let's just let's just enjoy this thing. Let's go to this galaxy far, far away with another person. And I know that Star Wars, in some ways and on some levels, can be personal, can be individual, and it's also something that can be shared, something that can be, while I can't experience it the same way you do, I can experience it at the same time.
Yeah.
That idea of whether it's watching an episode of Visions for the first time or the 15th time or going to a convention. And you know I'm 50 years old.
Yeah.
I still enjoy seeing people dressed as Star Wars characters.
Yeah.
Still, even though
So do I.
you know and it doesn't have to be my friends. Like, I don't just go to conventions to see my friends in their costumes. It can be a 8-year-old kid dressed in one of those classic masks with a black cape as Darth
Yep.
Vader. I'm like, that's fun. That
Yeah.
kid wins the moment.
Right. And I mean, hearing people's journeys also is just a great thing. I mean, just like when somebody's building a costume and they're like, "Oh, I don't know how to do this or how to do that." Just sometimes you're like, "Oh, you know what? I did the very same thing. This is what I did." Just having that little bit of advice for somebody to help them out. I mean, um who is that? Dave just got his armor approved not that long ago. And I mean,
Oh, really?
yeah, the tall Dave.
Okay.
I can't think of his last name, and I probably shouldn't tell it on YouTube, anyways. But he got approved, I think, like a month ago or something like that.
Oh,
And
cool.
I do remember him. We sat down a little bit and we were talking about, how to work on this, how to do that, just to, some of the specifics and just talking through some of the making sure that your posing's correct when you take your approval pictures and stuff like that. Like, and then seeing that he got approved. I mean, that was just I didn't actually talk to him in person yet, but I was one of the first ones to be like, "Oh, good job." And, congratulations. And, I still haven't seen him in person, but, I still reached out to him on social media and said, "Hey, great job." And if he was brave enough to put it up there, I'm going to respond to it.
Yeah, and we live in this world now too, where connections are literally and figuratively at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Right now we're recording from two separate states, and it's possible that one of our friends, or even one of the strangers, one of the friends we haven't met yet, is listening to this in Brazil, or
Sure.
wherever. Or we can use our thumbs and our little black boxes and send a text message to someone in Europe.
Yep.
So the idea that we don't have to be alone. We don't have to be isolated. We can find others. We can engage with others, even if we're not there live and in person.
Yeah. And I mean, you can use that magic box to do bad things too. But I mean, we should be choosing kindness.
Yeah.
In all things. I mean, there's no reason to not be kind to somebody online unless I mean if they're being a jerk to you, hey. But I mean, if they're not attacking you personally, there's no reason to be mean to somebody. I mean, like,
well,
there's no reason to be that anonymously brave. You just choose the higher road or just scroll on. That's always my advice to everybody. If if it really bothers you that much that you need to say something, maybe you just need to scroll on, just block them and move on with your life. If they're inherently wrong or something like that, hey, reach out to them, say, look, we can fix this. But I mean, in most cases, I just scroll on.
Yeah, definitely a choice. and which brings us back to that idea that we mentioned a little bit ago with Star Wars, this idea of our choices.
Yeah.
Our choices are going to have effects. Either those choices have effects on us individually and only us, or those choices can have ripples that cascade across the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
We could choose to get on our little black boxes, our magic cell phones or whatever, and send an awful message or a harmful message, a mean message to someone, you know 3 countries away, and their friends read it, and I mean it could just send out this cascade of negativity or animosity or whatever. Or on the other hand, to your point with the kindness, can also send ripples of support and encouragement and connection.
Right. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me. Like I try to put the best out there. And if I can't put the best out there, if I can't put that kindness out there, I mean, you don't know what somebody's going through online. And that's the biggest thing for me is maybe this person's just having a bad day and they need to vent on the internet. And they vent, and you go on there and you're like, well, you're so stupid. Excuse my cursing, but you're so stupid that, you should just, not post this stuff online. Or you could just be like, scroll past.
Yeah.
Or,
Do we need to pour gas on the fire?
right. And you don't know. I mean, maybe they just lost their job and they're trying to do something else, or they have a family member that's sick, or 100 million things. They just had the worst day ever. They broke up with their boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and they're just trying to get something out there, and they're not thinking about it. I mean, why make things worse?
Yep. And to that point of not knowing, that's one of the really powerful thoughts, is we really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Even behind the eyes, we don't know what's going on, what they're thinking, how they're feeling, how they're viewing a certain situation.
Yeah.
Even if we ask them, it may not be complete, or it may not be um, as accurate as they would want it to be. They might say, "I'm really frustrated," when in fact they're really disappointed, or they're really confused, or they're really alone and just lashing out, because in this moment it feels like a better release to lash out than it does to make a different choice.
Right.
And
I,
this idea too that none of us are perfect. I've
absolutely
yet to
not.
meet a perfect person.
I haven't even met somebody that's close.
Well, I mean, we've known each other for a long time, so I mean,
That's fair.
so I would say you're there. You're right. You're right. Just a few more steps, and then when you can walk on water, it's not frozen.
No,
That
darn it.
you might be there, but we'll see. We'll cross that lake when we get to it.
I mean, if I could turn water into wine, we're definitely talking.
Well, it depends on how much time you have. But I think, coming back to this idea of it being, mental health month, and finding ways of connecting, finding the courage to ask for help, or even, not even help. I don't need your help. I need an ear. I need acknowledgement. I want someone to hear what's on my mind, so it's not just rattling around in the cavernous space between my ears, but I want to put it out there to get somebody else's understanding of this, or somebody else's opinion of the thing that I'm
Yeah.
thinking about. And on the other side of that, to be aware enough of your friends and colleagues, to inquire, to ask. Normally you're really chatty. I noticed that today you seem quiet. How are things? And to
Yeah.
take the time to listen, and not just ask out of politeness, but out of true, genuine concern or curiosity.
and show your appreciation of somebody. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest thing that lacks. I mean, like I work in a tough business. I'm not gonna lie. There's a serious lack of appreciation that goes around what I do for a living. Um, there's a lot of scammy people that do the same job that I do, and for that, the whole business kind of got a hit over decades of doing it. It's not just the last 20 years that I've been doing it. It's been for as long as there's been cars, there's been people that take people for their money. Um, I can't dance around it anymore. But I work on cars for a living, and there's a lot of people out there that are just I know they'll sell service work just to sell you service work, and you know what? Most of these cars, especially today, don't need service work. Yes, you do need to change your oil regularly, but most of the stuff is fill for life, 100,000 mile fluids, 100,000 mile spark plugs. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't need to be done, and a lot of technicians get a lot of slack because there's people that'll be like, oh, you need to do a coolant flush on your car when it's 40,000 miles into a car and it's got 120,000 mile fluid. You know what I mean? And I get it. Like, that's the way the business is, but you sometimes you got to be the better person. And because of that, the appreciation's not there like it used to be. I mean,
Well, yeah, and in some cases, there's just mistrust.
yeah,
So I had an experience not too long ago, and I say not too long ago, within the last 2 months, where I took my car in to get it looked at because I'm not mechanically inclined. I can do some of the basics, but not much because where we live, we have rules that we have to follow. Like I'm not allowed to work on my car in our neighborhood.
okay,
We don't have a garage, so I can't change the oil out front or anything like that.
right,
And so took it into a place, and they did something I'd never seen before. They did a video tour of all
mhm,
the things that they suggest. And one of the things that they suggested I pay for was to change the cabin filter.
okay,
So in our car, the cabin filter is located in the glove box.
yeah, that's
So
pretty
you
common.
open up the glove box. There's a little latch. You pull out this cabin filter. So in this video, they pulled out the cabin filter. Oh, look, there are leaves in it. You should pay for us to replace this cabin filter. And the bill for them replacing the cabin filter was like $130.
Yeah,
It was 60 seconds. 60 seconds worth of.
I'm gonna tell you, I have the hardest time with cabin filter sales, and and it has nothing to do with the fact that we sell them and they look. It's like the filters for your air conditioning, your central air in your house. They get dirty. You breathe that air in. You should really change it, especially if you're a smoker or a vapor or whatever. If you're
Yeah.
throwing contaminants into it, it's getting recycled in through that. Okay, small rant. But the fact of the matter is, we do video inspections too. The fact of the matter is, we pull it out, we show it to you, and then try to charge you time to put a new one in when you already have the old one out and you're going to put it back in. It baffles my mind how anybody chooses to pay that. Like, I immediately I would walk up to the desk and be like, "Well, how much is the part?" "Well, it's like $30." "Okay, so just put the new one in. You already have it out. You already have it in your hand. You have to put the old one back in. You're already doing the labor no matter what." Sorry, ran over.
Well, and like to that point, to that end, I will gladly pay for the part because
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
But for the you.
Look, we okay, and quick aside, I know this is not where we're going.
Well, this is not the inflatable Falcon. We talk about cars and recipes all the time on that.
We charge nothing to put wiper blades on your car. Okay. Wiper blades, we have to actually take off the wiper arm and put new ones on. When we inspect them, we leave them on the arms. We charge nothing for that. But yet, a pollen filter that we pull out and show to you, or an air filter, because it's the same thing, we pull it out and show it to you in the video, and then we have to put it back. We have to reinstall it, whether you buy it or not. We charge for it. It blows my mind how nobody fights that. Blows my mind. So
Yeah.
my PSA to anybody who's getting their car worked on, argue out the air and pollen filter if they do a video because they're showing it to you and it's already out. You shouldn't have to pay for labor. And I'm sure my boss would be mad at me if he heard this, but I'm sorry. That's the way I feel.
Well, I'm okay paying for labor, but I'm not okay with paying for the like I said, 60 seconds.
Yeah.
60 seconds of labor.
Right.
Not an hour's worth of labor.
No.
It would be different if it was legitimate half an hour to take it out, a half an hour to put it in. Okay.
Right. We only charge like 0.2 of an hour for labor on a filter. So it's not really that much. I mean, but when you're talking about a labor rate that's $200 an hour, it becomes a lot. It's $40 to install something that is already in your hand. I get it, but the company's trying to make money, but it's really hard to I just can't believe that more people aren't like, put the parts out. It's a simple argument.
It's to your point, especially considering that they did the work to do that. 'Cause it's one thing just to say, here's what we recommend. A car of this age, just you don't have to pull it out and show me that there are leaves in it. I don't even know if those you didn't show me the filter as you pulled it out. It was already out, and then you recorded it. Were those leaves there? I don't know, but there are leaves there now. Did you put the leaves there? Do you have a pocket of potpourri? And
that is a whole nother conversation that I don't want to get into now. There's way too many. Again, my career choice has a lot of people that are scammy and have the potential to be scammy. And though I choose not to be, there are still plenty of people that do, but that does create a air of mistrust with the
not everybody's
public.
a scoundrel. Not everybody is a scruffy looking nerf herder.
Right.
Right.
We just play one on TV.
We just play one on TV, Shakespearean style. And this idea of finding, getting back to the topic at hand, finding ways to either get assistance or give assistance.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, I go and buy you a great gift, or I drive cross country to hold your hand, but just a connection, some effort, some attention can go a really long way, especially when somebody is behaving differently than they normally do.
Yeah.
Just as, hey, I know usually you post stuff on Facebook, every other day. I haven't seen your stuff in a week. What's going on?
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Right.
And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be confused or frustrated or mad or sad or uncontrollably ecstatic or whatever. All these emotions and things are human and real and worthy of acknowledgement.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I mean, just a moment ago, like, just don't be afraid to speak up to somebody. I mean, I know obviously you're having problems. You don't want to shout it out to the rooftops, which are all your problems are. You want to air your dirty laundry out to the entire city. But find somebody, pick somebody, anybody. I mean, write it in a book, like a novel, or not a novel, but like a journal or a composition book or a notebook or something. I mean, just sometimes getting those words out into the universe is enough to clear your head. But if you can find somebody to talk to, I mean, I think that's the basis of everything. I mean, we as humans are a community, um, and if you can't find somebody to talk to when you need, that stress relief, watch Star Wars.
At least as a starting point. It may
You
not
know,
be, it may not have all, it may not have any of the answers, but at least it's a choice. A choice of having to just take a moment. Or if you don't want to watch Star Wars, read a Star Wars, read a comic book, or listen to a Star Wars
or listen
soundtrack.
to one, yeah, or listen to an audiobook, or
Or a podcast even. There's plenty of those going around.
yeah. And there's a lot of people out there that just, I mean, if you talk to them, they will listen. There's a lot of them out there. And especially, I mean, let's face it, us on YouTube or audio podcast or however you choose to listen to us, some of us, we're talking to you, and if you reached out to us, it would make our day, you know? I mean, just knowing that somebody's out there that's actually listening to the words that we're putting out in the universe. I mean, um, you want to sit and talk about Star Wars? Hey, we can message on whatever. I mean, look, if we get enough people going, I'll start a Discord server, and we can start communications on there, or whatever we need to do to reach out and get more people to interact. Or if you need somebody to talk to, you know we're here in some sense or order of we can do.
Yep.
So I mean, just reach out, not necessarily with the force, but reach out and talk to somebody,
Either to get help or give help.
and pay kindness forward. I mean, again, just because you're not going through something doesn't mean somebody else isn't, and some people run through all their crap and never say a word, never miss a beat, never stop posting on social media, never, change their attitude, and they just need somebody to talk to, and they just build it up until they're eventually break. And, don't let it get to that point. That's all I got.
Hey,
Don't let it get to that point.
well, thanks for agreeing to get on this episode of bounty hunting across the galaxy, and instead of talking specifically about a Mandalorian character or any bounty hunter in Star Wars history, to talk through this observance of the month.
Yeah.
This probably won't be the last one that we this last episode where we have a theme like this, considering the kind of people that we are, and the circles that we tend to swim in, or
Right.
the ponds we tend to swim in.
Right.
So thanks for offering up this idea, and Mental Health Awareness Month, to chat through it with that leaning, that slant, that jumping off point of Star Wars. And when we think about Star Wars itself as as a um, um, a source of entertainment where struggle happens, or a source of entertainment where teamwork happens, or a source of entertainment where found family happens. I mean, I think that's one of the, the great themes of Star Wars is your family life may not be perfect, but you may come across somebody down the path that offers help in some way, whether it's a scoundrel, or a frog-like creature in a swamp.
Or an old hermit across the
Or
Dune Sea.
exactly, you never know whose path is going to cross yours, that can offer up some sort of assistance or guidance.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And none of the heroes in Star Wars did it all by themselves. There was a team there.
Right. Anakin always had Obi-Wan until he didn't. uh, Luke always had Han and Leia. Han always had Chewbacca. So on and so
And they
forth.
they had I mean, even though Luke was the one that fired the torpedo to destroy the first Death Star, he had a whole team of people around him doing things, whether they were on the planet or they were flying in other ships or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace, Biggs, right?
Porkins.
Porkins, yeah.
Yeah.
They did a lot so that Luke could get to that final moment.
Yep.
So
To destroy an entire battle station filled with innocent contractors.
the people that just were trying to make their lives better.
Just trying to make their lives better. They were working on this space station. And Luke had to go and blow it up. Jerk.
Yeah. Terrorist.
What the damage that one farm boy caused.
Ugh. Yep.
It was like a
Echoed
million
through the
voices.
galaxies. Yeah. Like a million
Millions of voices
voices.
screamed out in terror at once.
And then we're suddenly silenced.
Yeah.
So
when we get together next time, let's let everyone know that our plans for right now are to talk about this story that came from a single line in The Empire Strikes Back.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to talk about how the bounty hunter on Ord Mantell changed Han's mind.
And Star Wars history forever.
Yeah. And all the different possible reasons why Han changed his mind, or possible people that may have been the one that changed his mind.
Yeah, because I don't know if it was ever fully explored or expressed, but we are going to explore it and express it in many ways. And so when you're not here on Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy, what other shows do you run, or what other places can people find you in?
So you can always find me with Table Ready Painting, where we talk about miniature wargaming, mostly Warhammer 40K. And then you can also find me with Lake Clan Legends, where not only do we play Dungeons and Dragons, but now we're delving a little bit more into Warhammer 40K because that's what the kids want to do. So how about you, Ken? Where can we find you?
Well, when I'm not with you, I can be found every Wednesday night on the Inflatable Falcon. That's a show that I co-pilot with an incredible co-host named Michael Hinton. I occasionally sit around the Dejeric table with guys from the Bantha Milk podcast, Tom, David, and Robert. We ask each other questions and answer those questions, all related to Star Wars. And then my single show, my solo show, is called The Rambling Star Wars Fan. And as you were talking about a little bit ago, my latest episode is out there, all about how season 2 of Andor was unnecessary. And you have to listen to the show or watch the show on YouTube to find out what I mean by that.
And it's definitely worth it.
Oh, and I'm hoping to do at least one more episode about it because, as I was, wrapping it up and putting the touches on that one, I'm like, I got so many more notes that I didn't even get to. So we'll see how that comes. But I've got another episode, in the pipeline for an episode all about the Star Wars droid cartoon that came out in 1985, because this year happens to be the 40th anniversary of Star Wars droids and Ewoks. So I'm going to talk about the Star Wars droids cartoon next.
Very cool. You got to get that in. You don't have a lot of time until it's not 2025 anymore.
I'm telling you, don't say that too loud, man. This year is rushing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for everything, Mr. Todd. I will catch up with you soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome. And the Force will be with you always.
Always.